Hey friends, it's Miss A. Sorry, I'm sort of squished down here for a second. You're mostly going to be just seeing my hands today because everything's going to be down on the table today with paper and all that jazz. So, if you are a regular family night at Northeast Branch Library from over the years, you know that it is a tradition that at the beginning of every December we make 3D paper snowflakes. So make sure you get a go pack from the library this week and it will have almost all the supplies you need to make it. So your go pack will have paper, tape, and a stapler with staples. All you'll need from home is a pair of scissors. If you don't have scissors at home, let us know. We can get you some. All right, so basically we're going to need 6 sheets of paper. You can make it with less, it'll just look different than mine. I'd say 5 to 8 is probably a good number of pieces of paper to use for this. And your bag will have more than just 6, so you can make a couple snowflakes. So let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, so I have 6 sheets of paper. I'm going to put 5 of them aside because we're going to work one at a time. So let me step you through this one and then we're going to fast forward while I do the other 5. So we want a square sheet of paper. This is a rectangle. So you are going to take one corner and you want to match up the bottom edge of the paper to the side edge. So you can see I'm creating a right triangle. And once you get it, you want to crease. So your paper will look like this. It's like a right triangle with a rectangle at the bottom. We're going to cut off this rectangle because when we open this up, then it's going to be a square. So cut off your rectangle. All right. We now have a square. I've thrown this little rectangle to the side. So close it back up. We're going to keep it as a triangle. Now we're going to take the bottom point and take it to the top point. I like to press my thumb in the middle so you can have a line to fold it over. And then crease. Now I'm going to keep this folded bit at the bottom. That's really important. So it's like you're holding a hot dog bun, shaped like a right triangle, and you want to keep the part that holds the hot dog in your hand. That's really important or this next step won't turn out right. So what we're going to be doing is taking this hot dog and we're going to make 3 cuts. So if you're looking at it the way I'm looking at it, they're going along the diagonal. So you don't want to do up and down. You want to follow this line here. So you're cutting along the diagonal 3 times. So each time I want to be at least about 1 thumb segment away from this edge. So watch and learn. I also, in the instructions that you have in your go pack, it shows you how to cut it. So remember, don't cut all the way through and cut along with the diagonal. I'm gonna make these a little closer to the edge. All right, so this is how I cut mine. So 1, 2, 3 along the diagonal with the hot dog in your hand. So now the next step is we're going to open this all the way up. So if you did this right, you'll have a bunch of diamonds inside. If you did it wrong, just start over. You should have plenty of paper. So here is what it should look like when it's all opened up. So now what we're going to be doing is you want to start by taking a little piece of tape. And I'm going to take my 2 innermost points of the center diamond and fold them inward. I'm going to put a little piece of tape on the point. So I put the one point sort of over the other one and put a little tape on it. So that's what it looks like. So you have the inner diamond done. So what we're going to do next is we're going to flip it over and then we find the next 2 most inmost points of a diamond. We're going to do that again. So what you're doing is folding it towards it like it's hugging, and one point or hand goes over the other like in a hug. And then I'm going to tape that shut. good to have the tape first. So hug and tape. So when I'm teaching this to kids, what I usually say is the step is basically what you're doing is you're doing hug, that's the points overlapping, hug, tape, and flip. So we already did the hug, tape, flip here, so we're going, so we did the flip, so then it's hug, tape, and then flip. So we have one left. It's always the innermost diamond, but all we have left is the outermost. So I'm gonna take my tape to get it ready. And then we hug, tape, and this time we don't flip because this is what the final piece looks like. So the next thing that we're going to do is make all of the rest of them. So this is one completed part for a piece of paper. Looks really pretty. So I'm going to do the same process on 5 more pieces of paper. Let's do it. All right, so now I have a huge pile of these little shapes, each made by one piece of paper. So like I said before, I use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. So I'm going to start with just 2. That's the easiest way. So you'll need the papers and a stapler at this point. So if you haven't already, make sure you load some staples into your stapler. What you do if you've never loaded a stapler before, and if you're a small child, maybe have an adult do this. You hold the metal part and lift up. So you can see there are a lot of staples in here, otherwise just drop some in there. So click it back shut. All right. So we're going to take 2 ends, 2 points. So as you can see, they're totally side by side. I'm going to take the point, take the stapler, and staple them together. Now there's one other spot to staple them, and that's if you look at the sides, there's an X. There's always an X at the side. So between the two, you want to take the two middle X's and staple them together. So I like to go from the top. And you can sort of put one half the stapler in one and one half in the other and staple them together in the middle of that X. So you can see they're attached there now. I'll show you where the staple is. Yeah, you can see it's in the middle of that X that they both share on the sides. So if you only staple them at the bottom, you'll see your snowflakes all floppy. But this keeps the arms together and it gives it a good shape at the end. So I'm going to staple them all together and I'll show you how you staple the last two together. All right, so we're on the last one. So like normal, I'm going to add it to this part, the points together. So you're taking the bundle of points at this point and one on top. Staple it. Oops, need a second staple there. All right. But now the only difference is I'm going to staple the X's on both sides. So that'll close our snowflake. So I take the one on the right, match up the X's, staple. And so you can see it's still open at this point, like an accordion. I'm going to take these last two X's together. And I'm going to staple this side, so that way it seals in. So you can see I'll staple it shut there. So there you go, our finished snowflake. So like I said, you can change the number. If you do 8, it'll be a huge one. I love the way that the 6 looks, and actually 6 is the most common number of little arms for a snowflake. And if you do 5, you could do a star. But I hope you enjoyed this craft. I really miss the yearly tradition of us all gathering together at Northeast to make these together at the beginning of December, but I'm hoping that we can do that in 2021, and I hope you enjoy this holiday season. Thanks, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 5:30 for another Family Night Craft. Bye everyone!